Greetings to all our precious and committed viewers. Shalom. Grace, mercy, and peace from God the Father be our portion. We want to be grateful to our Creator for our spirit lives. We don't take this for granted. We will do as the psalmist says in the book of Psalm, chapter 100, verses 4 and 5, which says, enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise the name of the Lord, for he is good. His mercies endures forever. His love endure and his faithfulness continues throughout all generation. I want to appeal to you on behalf of Choices. We want you to, especially at this time, relate to your families, your neighbors, your friends. Befriend them before it is too late. I always remember the words of the late Maxwell Tom, who says, you are my friend, you are my brother, you are my neighbor. We need each other. Together, we achieve the extraordinary. And so, I want to remind you, stick close to the family. Let us work together as one. Division must have no place in this nation, in our families. But we must work together as one. And once we work together as one, we will be able to accomplish much. And so I appeal to all of you, our viewers, let's work. Hold one head. Join shoulders together and work not only for our benefit, but for the benefit of the entire nation. You have choices. God bless you, and God continue to bless beautiful Guyana. Thank you.
Now, more than ever, we need to respect the sanctity of life. And when we speak of sanctity, we're speaking about the extent to which human life is considered precious. God is the one who would have created man and given man this life to live so that they could be productive. And we see that in the Genesis 1:28 mandate to be fruitful, to multiply, generally to be productive. So life should be valued. It becomes a problem, though, when persons refuse to value their own life, the life that has been given to them, and adopt a carefree kind of approach to this life God has given to them. Now, we are functioning in a pandemic, and we've been bemoaning this fact over and over again that we need our people to live, and the numbers that we see that are dying, those numbers are not acceptable at all. And we know that every person that dies, each one of them, without any fear of contradiction, they have some skill, some talent, some gifting that they could use to contribute to the development of this nation as we sit on the course of, or as we set ourselves on a course for real development. But if our people continue to die, obviously that will impede our progress. And then we have another thing that is working against us. It's not disobedience and carefree behavior, but the contention and the confusion that is being, operational among our people, this group versus that group, this particular organization versus that organization. And we see that, and that kind of spirit does not augur well for continuity and for the production that we need to see in this nation. We've been talking about when people could take zinc sheets and make roads rather than, protecting themselves. It tells us that we have a problem. We have a serious problem in terms of how we value life and how we treat with life. And we have to learn to practice, there's something called delayed gratification. Some people can't wait to enjoy themselves and to have what they perceive to be freedom, but a freedom that ultimately brings death and confusion to a nation and to those who love them. And so we are advocating here today that we need to see unity among our leaders, among our politicians, among leaders in organizations, speaking with one voice if we are to stem the tide of this pandemic and drive back the impact that it has been making in the lives of our people of this nation. We keep talking about vaccination, we keep talking about wearing face masks and sanitizing and social distancing. And there seems to be a deliberate effort on the part of some people not to do these things and therefore contribute to the adverse effects that those things may have, the pandemic may have in this nation. And we cannot afford, with 750,000 plus people maybe, continue to lose our people in a vast country like this, where we're seeking to be productive and we're seeking to have this nation advance. Gentlemen.
I am so happy for Choices because of the very frank and holistic way we look at issues and putting that in a biblical perspective is always beautiful. I always like a good intellectual discussion. And what I found coming out of our program is God helping us to honestly look at these matters. And I love how frankly you have described the situation, Dr. Hudson. And what it says to me is that we are in a melting pot. And maybe, I think I heard this from Bishop earlier sometime, that maybe God is helping us to find a way, forge a way to live together, to work as one. Because you have just described, we all are involved and all are consumed. And instead of us going the route of trying to fight each other and run down each other, we need to live together and not only live together, protect ourselves and then protect each other. I have been overseas for a while. I'm right now speaking to you from Brooklyn, New York. But I've gone to Delaware, gone to Boston, gone to Queens, I'm in Brooklyn. And there are some common trends I found that sometimes we feel they are foreign. I found that there is a need for sanitization. There is need for even data collection, meaning there is need for social distancing. I found in the stores and supermarkets, just as how we have these marks on the floor, 6 feet marks, I found that. And I also found the requirement and the encouragement to vaccinate. I walked on the street and even saw vaccination cards on the street, so you could just stop, give your name, they take your necessary data and give you your vaccine. I had to do a PCR test only yesterday, and I was touched by the skill, the training of the person who did it. Because at first I was scared of the PCR because, it goes right up and the kinds of excitement. But when it was done, I didn't even know it was finished. This person just was so well trained and did it so excellently. What's the point? Sometimes we believe it's we alone, and only we have to. It seems as if this matter is a global issue. The requirements are similar around the globe, and we encourage each other. Let us find a way to love each other and to live with each other and protect ourselves. I heard this from my bishop, so I quote him. I normally use it all over. I will not knowingly put anyone in harm's way. And therefore, I encourage everyone to protect yourself.
Reverend Tasana, while you're in New York, I trust you're having a wonderful time. I want to twin what you said to what Dr. Hudson said earlier. He spoke about our productivity, be fruitful and multiply, Genesis 1:28. And you spoke about what you have been observing in the United States of America. I want us to just go back a bit. Several months ago, we had a flood. And what was different is not that we are not accustomed to flood, but what was different and what I found quite disturbing is that our highland regions were affected by the flood. Quite unlike the 2005 flood, where the capital, the coastland was flooded, quite a lot of this time around, quite a lot of the highland regions, the hilly sand and clay belt region, the highland region, the mountainous, it was flooded. Strange enough, or thank God, I should say, we didn't lose a single life. As far as I'm aware, nobody died. And then on top of that, we were living in the pandemic, and we're still living in the pandemic. We reached out to, I'm talking about the fellowship here, the Assemblies of God, reached out to some brethren overseas in Springfield, Missouri. They don't look like us. They're Caucasian. Perhaps they don't share the same political views that we share. They live in neighborhoods or communities that may not resemble us. But the thing that drew them to us and us to them was the fact that we were in a crisis and we needed help. They reached out to us. Note what I said. Perhaps they don't look like, well, they don't look like us. They don't live. And while they were helping us, they were also hit by Hurricane Ida. And I can't remember the other one. And in their situation of need, as we speak, I am working with some young men from our community where the church is, Ben Street. They don't dress like us. They don't speak like us. And I go further. They may not even believe in the God that we believe in. There's a Rasta man here who's helping me. The stuff of 40-foot container. But the point in this, when I told them what we were doing, why we were doing, they understood that the nation needs help. The commodities that we're taking out from the container, it's not just to bless brethren from the church. It will go across the 10 administrative regions like we did during the flood. Well, the water has subsided now. When we sent hampers, we complemented the Civil Defense Commission effort. We also made a donation of cash, cleaning agents to the Civil Defense Commission. You know why? Because we recognize that not just brethren who were affected, but all Guyanese were affected, and we wanted to help every Guyanese. So here today, as we record, we have benefited from brethren overseas who want to help us in the time of need. They came together. There's an organization called Convoy of Hope. It brings hope. And so they are not just keeping the hope to themselves, but they're sharing the hope with Guyana. And they came together and they have assisted us. So I'm saying to all of us, I mentioned the collection that I have here, Rasta men and men from Ben Street who don't speak like we speak and do all that. But we have come together as Guyanese to help out Guyanese who are in a real dire situation. So the appeal here to us is that all of us must unite. So you see this COVID here, the more we unite, I don't want to sound like a trade unionist, united we stand, divided we fall, but it's applicable in this situation. The more we can come together, we are going to beat this crisis. Bless you.
Let me amplify. And in a country like Guyana, like Jamaica, young people understand the power of amplification, because half of them deaf anyhow. When they ramp up their music and they put that power through those very powerful amplifiers, sometimes when their vehicles pass my vehicle shakes on the road. Well, we want to get this, is a message they're sending, We want to send a message that will shake us up, that we got to work together. This amplification, I just trying to turn up this amplifier that I have here, and I hope you're hearing it wherever you are. It must reach you in your castle. It must reach you in the dungeon, wherever you are. We want to identify these signs of hope. And thank you very much, Dr. Lee, for, and we want to say thank you very much, brethren from Springfield, and we say so as a local church. We are a part of this whole move, and we want to appreciate the sacrificial, as you point out, the sacrificial giving. And this is remarkable that, I was speaking with colleagues from Charlton. They live there now, yesterday. And they told me that they have never seen, you alluded to the hinterland flooding, they have never seen water like they have seen in Charlton this last season. So it wasn't the traditional yards in Georgetown, but in the hinterland communities, unprecedented flooding. And while they live on a plateau at the back of the airstrip, whatever that means to your mind, they saw water all around. And as some poem said, but not a drop to drink. Water was everywhere. But I tell you what, it is like situations like this, we are able to reach out and reach out and reach out. And we want to commend. We have an excellent spirit of hospitality in Guyana. And during this pandemic, we have rubbed each other rough. Some persons have taken major offense, but we need to come out of this. We need each other's support. We need each other's hand. We need each other's understanding. Everything that Dr. Hudson and Reverend Asana said, we need to pull together. We need to come and ensure that no more lives are lost. And we need to sit at the table with folks who you'd consider your foes, your enemies. We need to sit and listen to each other's ideas, however difficult. We have one objective. We want to come out of this bat in hand. We want to be able to save as many lives as we can save. And we want to include as many methods, like not just the vaccine, as we noticed from best practices. Speaking to a colleague of mine in Jerusalem on Wednesday, he told me he has already had 3 vaccines, and that Israel is opening, and I want to welcome you back to the Holy Land. I'm ready to receive you, Brother Mashiach. He said, that's my Jewish name. I pronounced my name incorrectly, Messiah. He said, your name is Mashiach, and I want to welcome you back. Now, listen, brethren, it's an amazing thing for us to do. And around the world, this is not a Guyana problem. This is a public health problem that is international. And we need to understand this. And we need to work with each other and resolve this problem.
And just to give it some more context, Bishop, and I looked at the 1918 Bishop and team. I looked at the 1918 pandemic and this 2019 pandemic. And I just did a very simple analysis and comparison. Firstly, it began mildly, it began as a little unknown thing in 1918. Same thing in 2019. We all thought this is a Far East thing. This is all the way across the world. It wouldn't come to us. Same comparison. The second observation I noted, 1918 had 3 waves. So far, we have 3 waves. We're not finished as yet. Lethality. The second wave in 1918 was the most lethal. Persons died 2 days after contracting this virus. Okay, lethality in 2019. The second and third wave so far are the most significant. Second into the third so far. Same comparison. However, what is helping us now is that we have more knowledge, so the death rate is going down. Another point I noticed in terms of deaths, in 1918, different age ranges also died. At the beginning, the younger persons died and the older persons. Does it sound familiar? Between 0 to 5, a lot of deaths. Over 6 to 5, a lot of deaths. And then in the second wave, it was between 40 and 45. That was the age range. Is there any similarity to this one? The fifth and second to last one is the response. What was the response in 1918? They reported, sounds familiar, social distancing and wearing face masks. When they realized that this thing is spreading and it's not finishing, because it took 2 years, if you can recall, 1918 to 1920. So when persons realized the lethality was significant and the persons who were dying changed, they started obeying all the city guidelines, all the authorities' guidelines. So they started social distance. They started reporting for us, whoever was feeling sick, reported so they could be treated. They started social distancing even more, and they started wearing face masks. Businesses started operating on a rotational basis. So what happened in 2019? Same principles, social distancing, face mask, reporting, and we have contact tracing. Are we doing enough of those? When they implemented this response in 1918, within 2 years, the virus was eradicated. This virus started in 2019, September, first reported case. We're coming up to December 2021, and we started in December 2019. It's coming up to 2 years. Where are we going? We just heard about working together. Are we really working together? Are we really our brother's keeper? It can't be only about economics. It can't be only about me having fun. It can't be only about all of these things. You have to help me. On this screen right now, I have a neighbor on my right. Right now is Brother Millington. I have a neighbor on my left is the technician. I have a neighbor beneath me, Dr. Wilbert Lee. I have to look after all of these men in the virtual world. They're next to me, they're my neighbor. If we were physical, we could not have do this, but I would like for us to go back to this place. I'm sure you would like to go back to that place. It ended in 2 years when they really start implementing or obeying the law rigorously or vigorously. What are we waiting for? We need that consensus, all of us. Let's work together.
Jump in here quickly and just make one point. I appreciate that historical analysis that you provided there, Pastor Court. One thing was missing. When we compare 2019, 2018 to 1918 to 2019, 2020, 2021, social media, I don't say anything more.
And is it frustrating to hear all of these and to be able to manage all the information? Yes, many of us might be frustrated with the changing of information and how everything is bouncing around, but that's the world that we live in. So don't get frustrated, take it one step at a time and follow suit with the best advice you're getting. We're recommending the vaccines and stuff like that. That's a great option. And we also recommend, those same home remedies in conjunction with the vaccine, because it's not just about it's not just about being vaccinated, but it's about changing how you live and how you operate in order to survive this sort of toxic environment. And as we get more information, don't just say another thing. This is one other stress they want to put on. There are scientists that are working, and as they work, it's not like a linear path. It's not a straight path where they know this will do this and find the cure. It's more of an exploration. So they never know. You never know exactly when they will find out. How we'll get the big resolution or the big solution. But we're following the best advice that we have available as it stands. And as we move forward into the future, into a world where we're coming back together, I think that we should be open to listening to great ideas, and remember to love your neighbor and to check in on them. Because apart from using the mask and apart from using all of these great methods to preserve your health, it's also important for you to ensure that your mental health is good and that your spirit remains solid during this toxic season.
Well,
Are you aware?
I would like to we down to our last minute, and I would like to share that with Reverend Asana and or Pastor Benjamin.
Thank you, Bishop Messiah. You might be looking at the program, you're a housewife, you're a school child, and you're asking the question, how can I help? How can we work together? I believe one of the ways is to start by giving of your time, giving of your substance. Reach out to a neighbor, reach out to a friend, pack a bag, pack a basket, help somebody, share a mask, encourage a work colleague. The important thing is for us to do something. And when we do something, especially something that is good, we trust that it will catch on. We trust that others will come on board. And let us be consistent in what we say and what we do, because we need each other as Guyanese, as God's people, as citizens of this world. We have so much to offer and so much to give. Let us not derail that potential that we have, but let us work together to achieve the extraordinary. This is Choices. God bless you and God bless your family.
I'm Celacia on behalf of the set, reminding you that your whole life is the sum of your choices. God bless you.